Well, hey, it's Lynn Brown, and welcome to the Gritty Women Global Podcast. It's been a minute. I've been on a sabbatical, I guess you might say. Not that I've been just sitting around eating bonbons, but I've just taken a break to reset and refocus. And I will tell you that this is a gift that I am truly new to. The word focus, it's such a little word, but it has been my word for this year, and I will tell you that my intentional focus has benefited my life in every area. So today I don't know, I just had to stop. I had to just stop for a minute, and I had to jump on here because I feel like that this time of the year we have several options now, really. We can choose just to kind of blow off the rest of the year because there are only 40 days left, and we could just start over in January. Maybe there's some things we haven't accomplished by now that we wanted to. Maybe our leggings and our stretch jeans are a little tighter than we wanted, or maybe they're too loose and we wanted to build muscle. We might have financial goals we haven't reached. We might have relationship goals we haven't reached. So anyway, I wanted to slow down for a minute today, jump on here, and just challenge you to join me in this gritty focus for 40. And what that means is we're not going to take on the world and try to save the world and change everything, but we're just going to maybe pick one thing that we could focus on for these next 40 days. I promise you, if you do that, you will see a different result. I think it's, again, one of the biggest things in my life that's made the biggest difference is focus. Because if you've ever listened in before, you know that I'm a recovering shiny object chaser. I can get distracted. If I hear noise outside or see a butterfly, flutter by the window, I can get distracted. And there's so many things out there that sound good. There's so many health programs that sound good. There's so many products that sound good. There's so many opportunities that are good. We have a lot of good ideas. We have a lot of great ideas, but they're not necessarily all for us. And so the area of focus is one that I have found that has truly helped me. Now, let me back up with this disclaimer. If you think this is the podcast for the perfect people, you need to go find another one because this is not. I'm telling you, I am a work in progress. I fail forward to success every day. And I'm very honest. I used to be very not honest, and so I would just wear this mask and this smile all the time, and I would never share with you anything that was negative or a failure. I mean, but obviously the results don't lie in your life. So I wasn't fooling anybody, but I wasn't honest. I wasn't transparent. I was afraid to really share what I was feeling. So all that has changed now, or in the process of changing, and this podcast is just for women and even young girls too that just want a different result, and it can be in any area. So first of all, just stop for a second, give yourself a hand, because you slowed down enough to click on the podcast. And how many times do we say to ourselves, oh, I'm going to just drift on through this, I don't have time today, maybe next week I'll save it, I'm going to save it, and I'll get to it. But for some reason you stopped today and you saw this gritty focus for 40, and you thought, you know what, I can do anything for 40 days. I'm a person of faith, and so we know that in the Bible, there was a crew of people that spent 40 years trying to get to the promised land. We know about the 40 days of fasting, that Jesus had to do, and all these things. So I love the number 40, and it just hit me today. Wow, we have 40 days left. So well done. First step, you took action, and action annihilates fear. I don't know if any of you have ever had to deal with anxiety as something that I have been able to be healed from and overcome, and I had to retrain my brain and how I thought about a lot of things. But taking action annihilates fear. So sometimes even an example of what I'm talking about, like if you are feeling yourself getting anxious, or some thoughts are just going over and over and over in your brain, and you can't change, you can't get out of it, just stand up and go to another room. Just change your state. That's one thing. That's action annihilates fear. It's just like if you're afraid to, not long ago, I kept driving by the gym and I wouldn't pull in because I was like, I just don't want to start this over again. And one day I pulled in, and guess what? Everybody was super nice and they welcomed me, and it was great. So that's number one. You took action step. Another thing that I want you to be aware of, which you probably already are, I had to get some water. Only 3% of people ever really write down what they want to either focus on, a dream they have, a growth goal that they have, and another area that oftentimes people think in their brains, but they don't slow down enough to really write down on paper with a pencil or a pen or a colored marker, is gratitude. So welcome to the 3% club, because that's what we're going to focus on this next 40 days. And what we're doing here is we're building our gritty mindset. We're building our gritty focus. It's like a muscle. The only way to build a muscle is to consistently work out. It's repetition. Repetition is the mother of skill. So practice makes progress, but it also makes permanence. It's not just progress we want. We want a permanent, healthy habit to be created here. So we're actually retraining our brains with action. And I know some of you think, if you know me, you're like, oh, Lynn Brown, that is a huge undertaking for you. But it's so true. We can be transformed by the renewal of our minds. And so it's not about so much the goal, but it's about the growth process and who we become along the way. And I think if there's anything I've learned through this last 8 years of growth, is that it's not just about being just the greatest person, an excellent person, or an excellent, in my career. It's not about being the top of my game in my company or whatever it is I'm doing, coaching or podcasting or whatever. It's about being excellent in who I am. And so as we begin to create these new thoughts, our mind will be renewed. And again, my favorite verse is, to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Lynn is being transformed by the renewing of her mind, Romans 12:2. So we have to literally trash the thoughts. I mean, if you have to mentally make a picture of you just taking thoughts and throwing them in the trash can, or if you are like me and you're so visual that sometimes I have to just take a piece of paper and throw it in the trash can. Just throw away the junk that does no longer serve you. Most of us, honestly, y'all, I did this for the first half of my life. Literally. Most people replay the same thoughts every day. And unfortunately, I know we think we're just so positive and happy, clappy people, but about 75% of the thoughts are negative. So the news flash here, the great news here, I guess the best news probably I could share with you today is that gratitude is the one cure for an empty joy tank. Brene Brown, in one of her books, writes about joy just being the antidote for refueling. That gratitude will refuel your joy. So if you're feeling a little bit low in your joy tank, I just want to encourage you to join us during this gritty mindset focus. We can actually create a new environment by creating new thoughts. I mean, our brains are more like plastic than anything, which sounds kind of weird, but they can be remolded. We always hear, oh, they've always been that way. Well, that was their choice, because anybody can change. We're not a tree. We're not planted in the ground. We can pick up, we can change, and we can move if we have a desire to, and if we have a gritty mindset. So I want you to just hold on to your gritty image, hold on to that gritty mindset, and just run with us these next 40 days. I mean, my goal is just to not eat everything I see. So what's yours? My goal is to sow into people's lives this Christmas, this holiday season, even with Thanksgiving. I don't want to skip Thanksgiving. But just to sow and make the world brighter. I think you would agree with me that there's never been a more important time for us to shine our light. We are salt and light in this earth, this world, this, people in our communities, people in our homes, people at the supermarkets and the shopping and at the gas station and in traffic. They need us to shine bright. So let's remember, gritty's the new strong. It's so great to be back. I have missed you. I've missed this time together. And if you know somebody that just pops in your head, I just want to challenge you. Don't wait until tomorrow to share this with them. Don't wait. You know who they are. They've been on your mind. I just did this myself. I just texted somebody and just told them I had been thinking about them, and I knew that they were under a lot of pressure right now. So who is that person for you? I just want to challenge you to do it. I promise you it will be a win for them and a win for you. And that is a way that we can begin to transform our mind by focusing on other people. Because what we sow into the lives of others comes back into our own. One last thing, too, about this gritty mindset focus for 40. The pods every day will be very brief. They're not going to be long, intensive studies. I usually keep my pods to about 15 minutes. I'm going to try to keep these maybe a little less because I know this is a busy time for people. But thanks again. It's great to be back with you. And you can, just subscribe to the Gritty Women podcast. We're on Spotify and Apple, and share it with people. And I look forward to running with you. And we're gonna do great things this last 40 days. We're not just gonna write it off as, well, I missed everything I want to achieve by the end of 2023. So it's going to be a great fun time. Thanks again. Take care. And remember, I believe in you and God believes in you even more. See you soon. Stay gritty.